Hey everyone, so we're here at Apex. It's a sunny Thursday afternoon. Took a week off work, took the kids away for a couple of days, and then always got to spend a day off, get a little bit of riding. So actually in the week, Chas from Johnny Motorcycles phoned me up and said, Nev, would you be able to come and grab one of, we've had a new Beta 350 arrive and we'd like someone to try get like some testing and a few videos and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, no, for sure, dude, I'd really like to do it. And he said, what tires do you want on it? I said, dude, I don't have a clue about enduro bikes, so it doesn't really matter, just leave whatever's on it's on. He's like, oh no dude, it's a full-on 2-stroke motocross bike. And then I was like, oh, sick. So anyway, he left the tyres on because I'm not fussy, unless I'm racing. So yeah, grabbed the bike from him yesterday and he said, dude, just ride it, maybe do a couple of local races, just tell him what you think. And I always had in my head an idea, you know, like, I think now the 250 2-stroke is definitely not competitive against the 450s. It's kind of just too far away. Like a tuned 250 2-stroke and a 250F is kind of close, but just racing them is different. Riding a 500, you have to go back to like an olden bike, which obviously the brakes and the chassis and stuff's not so good. So I always kind of thought, you know, if someone did like, I don't know, like a 400 or 350 or, you know, bigger than a 300, they would actually be quite a good 2-stroke with a chassis. So I always thought it was a good concept, but as anyone that's tried to do that knows, there's obviously vibrations, bike handling, the inertia of the motor. It's quite a tricky one to get right. So was quite, not apprehensive, but quite keen to understand how this bike would work. So got it. It was a brand new bike I picked up yesterday. So I did the 50 minutes slow in it. Just ran it in nicely. My initial thoughts, you know, you always give it like a little bit. I'm sure we all do, just a tiny bit just to understand the motor. And I was kind of blown away how much, there's a long hill here, and just blown away how much speed the bike actually had. You know, the power of the motor is super strong. So that was the warm up. The bike was quite comfortable. It felt quite hard to start with. It's got like a very like European feel, like you sit on the bike. I only noticed that when I was riding it slowly, like you sit on it, maybe because the seat's a little bit hard. But the controls are awesome. The front brake is so good, back brake really good. Handlebars, standard bars are pretty comfortable. You know, your ride position on the bike I felt was also pretty good. You know, a lot of the Austrian bikes I find that foot pegs are too high and you're too cramped to the bike. I felt like I had quite a bit of room on the bike. So ran the bike in for 50 minutes, came back, checked everything, and then I did a 20-minute motor on it, and man, the bike is so good. Like, it's actually, you know, like a few times it actually got away from me, like the 250 3-stroke never does that anymore, you know. One of the things I really liked about it is how you can just lug third gear. It's almost like riding, the best way to describe it is it's almost like riding a 4-stroke again. You've got so much bottom end and initial power, but it's not that like classic big 2-stroke hit. It's just like very mellow. It takes the next gear and then that builds nicely. Like it's there's a lot of power, but it's like a very mellow power, very like rideable power. You'll see I did a couple of GoPro laps on it. And just such a smooth bike to ride. The front end's nice and soft, which is what I like on a bike. The bike always makes the apex of the turns. Just a little bit of front brake just to like kind of feed it in it works really nicely on this bike. Gears changed and is nice and strong. Suspension, as I said, I like soft stuff and it's good for me. Like maybe for a faster rider it might be a little bit soft, and maybe once it wears in as well you might have to get it revalved or go on the clickers or something. This is bike-ish, literally just as it came out the crate yesterday. But also very neutral, like the bike's got a nice feel. The back and the front work quite nice together. Very movable, you can scrub it on the jumps quite good. The only thing I did feel was it's quite, like, not wide, but it's wider than anything else I've ridden here. You can kind of feel it against your knees, which actually sometimes isn't a bad thing because it's nice to have like the grip on the side of the bike for that. And it's quite a cool looking bike, you know, like the color is quite cool and you can see the pop. It's almost like it's between a 250 and a 500, so that kind of gives it away. So yeah, initial feedback is very positive. There's one thing that's negative on it is, I don't know, you might hear in the GoPro videos, every time I overjump a jump or land hard or brake really hard and it blows through, there's like a real screech. I don't know if it's the fork guards hitting the number board or the tyre hitting the fender or something. So once I can get that figured out, it's kind of weird sound, you know, it's kind of like something's going to go wrong, but nothing has gone wrong. So just get that figured and then just keep doing laps. I'm going to do one more 20-30 minute motor today, and then hopefully over the weekend we can get some racing done, and then there's no better test for a bike than race test, you know. Like one thing I would be excited about is the start. Like this thing rips, man. Like I think you'll get a good start, and then you can just ride the bike quite lazy, very much like a 500, you know, third gear, roll speed, bike always picks up, the clutch is awesome. You know, like I do like a cable clutch, but when you ride a brand new bike with a hydraulic on, it's just so easy, you know, like even a big bike like this, it's just like got a real easy pull to it. So stay tuned over the next couple of weeks, and let's see, give it a thorough test. Bye.